Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you how I made this denim set for a school project. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that stuff, and let's get straight into it. So this is the final design that I chose. It's a two-piece denim set with this sample that I'm showing right here. I started off by drafting a pattern for the top because I didn't have an existing pattern to use already. So I took the measurements from my model and used them to draw out the shape that I wanted. This ended up being a lot more confusing than I thought, and the measurements were way off even though I took them accurately, which was really confusing. I was doubting my pattern a bit, so I cut it out in calico to mess around with the darts, and it's a good thing that I did because this was one of the most complicated parts of the process. Here I am with it on the mannequin trying to figure out how I'm going to put these darts in, and it did not work. I had a very specific vision in mind for what I wanted it to end up looking like, but after hours of working on this, I had to move on. I started working on the skirt because I knew I could get it done without a problem. I did the same thing as the top. I took my measurements and I marked out the shape that I wanted. And bear in mind, each piece has 2 layers for the technique that I'm using. I cut the pieces out and sewed one layer together with a wider stitch so I can take it apart again. And tell me why the machine decides to do this when you're the most stressed. So I tried the skirt on and it's looking good from the front, but there's a massive gap at the back. I took apart my pattern and decided to just try again. And the reason that I'm trying it on is because my model's the same size as me, so I can see in real time if it would fit her or not. So I took apart my skirt and I measured how much I need to take off the side, and then I sewed it together again. I tried it on again and it fit perfectly, except there was still a little bit of a gap at the back, so I took it apart again and sewed it back together because I don't want it to be too big. And this is me adjusting the other pieces to make sure that they all fit perfectly. And now it's time to do the most time-consuming thing in this entire project. To get the texture that I want for this design, I'm sewing straight lines 1 centimeter away from each other across the whole thing. And yes, this did take me hours. And I really wanted to get this done, so this is me at my train station cutting all my lines, and yeah. Basically, the way that I did my sample is it's 2 layers of fabric sewn together with 1 centimeter lines, and then you cut through just the top layer and it gives this slash look, and I think it's really cool, and that's what I chose for my design. Okay, I'm in my studio so I can finally talk. It is still the same day. I just got home from school. It's 10 o'clock, but I need to get the skirt done for a fitting with my model tomorrow. All I have to do is reinforce the seams here because I made a bit of a mistake with the pattern. But yeah, and I need to sew the pieces together. Originally I was going to do a zipper, but the fabric that I ended up using is a bit stretchier than my sample. I also need to do some of that, I don't know. But I think it looks quite cool once I distress it a bit more. So yeah, let's get on to sewing. So what I'm doing here is going over the top of those seams that they don't unravel when I cut the fabric. And then I just sewed both pieces together, so the skirt is done. So I have basically finished the skirt now. It just needs some more distressing, and I haven't finished slashing these, but yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and hopefully it fits. It is like really stretchy, and yeah, I'm so excited for the fitting, but that is all for today. I'll give you an update tomorrow. So I never actually gave you guys an update, but my model tried it on and the skirt fit perfectly. So now I'm just working on the top. I figured out a dart that worked quite well, and all I had to do was add a bit of fabric to the neck and under the armpit, and the pieces for the front of my top were done. So I started working on the back of the top, which was a lot easier. I just measured myself, did a rectangle, and took out a bit on the top so that it looked like this. So the weird thing about this is you can see me measuring myself there and measuring the pattern as well to make sure that it fits. But once I ended up sewing it together, it looked like this, which I don't understand. I think I was just really tired and nothing was making sense, but I was so confused. But I ended up just taking a bit out the back like this. I think it was 3 inches, and it fit really well. But again, I wasn't sure if this was going to fit my model because we're different sizes on top. Here I am back in the studio sewing my darts again. This was a much better fit for my model. So here I have the completed pieces. I'm just pinning them together so that the fabric doesn't move apart like it did with my skirt. And here I am sewing the lines again and again and again, and this part was actually exhausting. It was a lot easier with the skirt because over here I had to go over the darts, and I had to figure out a way to like angle it so that it would still look good and not so like straight over the darts. And I repeated this with the back piece and the neck piece. Finally, I had all my parts and I just sewed them together, so the front to the back and the neck piece on, and it was done. I completely forgot to record while we were shooting, but I got a quick clip with my model and I'm so happy with how it turned out. So that is my finished project. I didn't get a lot of videos with Maren wearing it, but I've got a few photos that I will put here. I really enjoyed this project. It was so much fun, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully there'll be some new videos soon, and I'll see you next time.